I had to break one of my personal rules, which is I really don't like to turn the music off when the Offspring are playing, but that's me. But no, had having it's still morning, still fairly early morning. Having a good day today. Momentarily, I leave for the gym and go work out. Maybe see one of my friends at the gym there, and the only one I got left. The other guy built his own private gym, so good for him. He doesn't like the other guy. Does not like the Thai heat, and he built himself an air-conditioned gym. Um, Still hoping to get an invite, but so far not happening. Anyways, no, had 2 days ago was the tour with Fawn and her family. Obviously, as you know, that went really well. Her boys and Yui's boys are always super well behaved. I mean, the one older boy is a little more rambunctious, but if I say anything to him, that's over with. And Fawn's boys are the same way. Pretty not the same, but if I say a little something, that'll generally stop. It's rare that they go back and forth. One's better for a while, then the other one needs to push the boundaries. Right now, it's Ken, the younger but larger one, that needs to push the boundaries. He's the ostensible and ridiculously overt family favorite. So it sort of sucks to be the other boy sometimes. But they're all generally fawn all over Ken, who's the big, upcoming family hero, I guess. So I don't know how that's going to work if I don't teach him to work, have a job, or get educated. I don't know how he's expected to be the big. Like the plan seems a bit thin in my review. But anyways, Ken called Fawn at 6 o'clock this morning on a Saturday twice to let her know he wanted a hamburger. So I don't get immediately angry because there's no profit for me in that. And you can take a lot of your life philosophy from a lot of things. One would be the Ferengi in Star Trek. Never was a big, what was that, Deep Space Nine? Never was a big fan of all that. But the Ferengi are hilarious, I gotta say. Anyways, it doesn't help me or benefit me or profit me in any way to be angry all the time. So I try not to be. And it works pretty well. Anyhow, so yeah, about a half hour later, I'm up anyways. I was sleeping really peacefully and I was very tired and I went to bed in quite a bit of pain. So I was enjoying my sleep, but fine. 6:30, I'm making my first cup of coffee. Here's number two. And all was right with the world generally. And so I asked Fawn, what's up? Why do you do that? And I get the whole thing, hamburger, all that. She starts doing laundry, clean the house, this and that. I'm work on the house plans a little bit. I edit and put up a couple YouTube videos. I think it's maybe my last footage with Davo. I cobbled together some found footage, scraps here and there with some narration and put together a little thing with Davo that has some coherent whatever to it. It's pretty cool. And it's nice, And so I did that, and that's always fun. He's probably my best friend in Thailand, and I do miss him because when he's not around, Noi just kind of goes more into caring for her mom mode, which is understandable and all fine. But then we just don't see either one of them, which is sort of a drag, but the way it goes. On a socializing front, I do want to say last night saw a good friend of mine, an older Swiss gentleman, very smart guy. I think he speaks 4 languages. Those darn Swiss, so annoying. And but Thai isn't one of them. I think he was like full up on languages. He's like, I am not learning like a 5th freaking language. So, which is fine. He is older and but a smart guy. And Fawn says that she thinks that I'll end up looking and being kind of like him when I think he's 81, he said, or 80, just turned 82. I would take that deal. He's probably the in the best shape of just appearance wise, the best shape, and he also is a handsome guy and he dresses nice, but he's also really sharp still. He's really sharp, and he has really good relevant things to say to me, which really are very helpful. Anyways, enough about that. So back to Fawn's boys. So I was going to go over and walk into down her literal family street and chat with Ken and then give Kim the lesson at the same time and do it in front of whatever adults are around loud enough that they get the point that, hey, come on, let's have a little reasonable respect here. The guy with the chronic back pain getting his morning sleep, let's not wake him up for a frickin' hamburger at 7-Eleven, okay? Anyways, didn't need to. Fawn already knew that was coming and took care of it. And I believe her. She wouldn't lie to me. So I explained to her why it's important. And I reiterate probably every 2 months or so when he's 18, and generally speaking, and I think most Americans would agree with this statement, generally speaking, when someone's 18 in the U.S., they're treated as an adult. The parents, there are people that spoil their kids, obviously, forever into their 50s, but I mean, generally speaking, at 18, you got to do something on your own 2 feet. Particularly for a guy, you got to be a man, go do your stuff. So I've told her that's going to be a very strict rule. I said, I won't stay around with that. I told her I will not stay around and watch that. I won't be a victim to some spoiled 18-year-old. First, we're going to start arguing, and two, now he's an adult. Now it can get physical. So, and that's just fair because 10 years from now, hell, I'll be 70. That's fine. That's fair. An 18-year-old and a 70-year-old. Most people think that's the other way around, but in my case, I'm going to argue it's fair, but it's heavily to my favor still, I think. So anyway, had that conversation. And that's a challenge, it's the culture so different. And to me, this whole boy thing is a big issue. I mean, it is. It's the biggest challenge with Fawn, probably. If she had 2 daughters, none of this would be an issue at all. She'd have 2 more helpers cleaning and cooking and stuff. They'd be like, okay, no problem. You want some money? Can I pay for your college? You guys are great. But with the boys, you've got a bit of a, I don't want to be competitive, but I think it ends up that way to some shade of gray. I hope not, but I think it does. And it's not fair to me to piss myself off all the time. So I just try to not engage, but enforce rules that, if they want to do whatever over there, like, have at it. But if you want to come over to my place, you got to act a certain way. And if you want help from me, you're going to have to act a certain way. I don't have to help. All my bank accounts are locked, and I've got a pretty good security in what I do. By the way, you should do the same thing. My main pension stuff is not tied directly to anything in Thailand. Nobody can ever get it. You'd have to really, get me to talk, okay? So if I don't want to help, I don't have to. And I'm not socially obligated to. Any lady that's got already been married and divorced and with particularly a couple boys, as we've talked, the Thai guy's not helping them. There's no market that social momentum that says I got to do all that. They don't do that. I don't have to do that either. So Fawn knows that, and that's why she went on her own to go and take care of it and head it off. Right now, Ken's not coming here today because he's scared of me now. He's scared that I'm going to yell at him or spank him or something. So, but Kim came over. Kim was all gloating, like he comes over kind of prancing over. Good morning, Coon Robert, because he knows he's not in trouble. So, yeah, kids, that's okay. It's odd because Kim has been the easier one the last, consistently now 2 months, I got to say. And he was really the difficult one for the last year or so. Kim's got a lot of issues, a lot of social issues. I think life's going to be generally a lot easier for Ken. Is the general expectation that I'm going to probably tend to agree with. He's kind of be given everything probably his whole life, where Kim's going to have to get a taxi business together. Or maybe I've talked to Fawn about it. If he takes an interest in like beauty and stuff, send him to beauty school or something. Make him an expert in like nails, hair, makeup. He can learn the skin treatment stuff from me, and there's I'm sure experts in other countries or other regions or whatever, we could go and learn all that. That'd be a big hit here. Doing like a for-service, like with the HIFU and the RF treatment, the skin treatments I do. I'm getting pretty good at doing myself. You do that, open up a clinic doing that here, you probably end up being rich. Italian women love looking good. And the whole saving face thing and the whole Don Cho culture, being seen going in and out of like the elaborately decorated beauty business with a fancy name, put in some marble floors and some fancy chairs and stuff, and being seen going in and out of there. Do a social media page showing people before and after and all that. I think within a year you'd have a pretty booming business. That really appearances, I'm telling you, super important here, and Americans in particular. We're better off if we wrap our heads around that, because I know in America, I love those guys. And my great business mentor, I've had a handful of good business mentors over the years, but my really great one, I'll say it's just his first name, Dick, and he, a very, very financially and just socially, status-wise, just not status so much, but just respect, just the respect he got in the industry. I'd bring him with me, and I was so lucky bring him with you to these big meetings I'd have with like a big client or something, and then when I don't know how people could figure out who he really was, but he would be very quiet during the meeting. Now he looks like Anthony Hopkins, kind of, a younger Anthony Hopkins, and he's got the big deep voice, so he looks like a man of substance, and he has very expensive clothes because he's rich. Okay. Um, and he would just sit there and be quiet at the meeting, and then at some point he'd speak just quietly. Everybody would stop and pay attention and give him full respect for whatever he had to say. And generally speaking, I'm going to say, as far as I can recall, always he was right, and everybody went with Dick's proposal. Um, so there's a really awesome guy, and man, drove a Subaru. I mean, he at one point had a big Audi and all that, but then he got tired of that, and he went to a Subaru, and I mean, he lives in a really, really, really nice place, but it's technically just an apartment. you know. Um, I don't know. It's just that's like a cool thing in U.S. culture. That's a cool thing to be like that. That's considered being humble, and the rich guy that okay, he's all cleaned up and looks okay, but he isn't like driving a Rolls. He could, but he isn't driving a Rolls. And here it's the opposite, and you got to wrap your head around that. I got to do that flexing video. I got to do that because there is an argument for doing some. I mean, if you do the total humble thing, I think you're going to have problems. You know. And I'll do another video. I got to do a good story from my friend last night. Yeah. So okay, cooler heads have prevailed. I'm editing this video right now, putting it together, and I planned on shooting this extra sequence anyways. But I also see that I feel like in hindsight here, I was a little hard on Ken maybe and fun and whatnot and all that. But in fairness, I guess I was woken up out of a peaceful sleep. I did go to bed in quite a bit of pain. And I was getting some much needed rest. Some nights it just hurts to move in bed. All that. I don't get into all that, but it's challenging. And I was finally getting some restful sleep and feeling good. And then I got woken up, so all that. But the humorous part though is that while if I was actually shooting the video this morning, or if it was just when I was just kind of puttering about the apartment this morning, but I did see Fawn's car before she came to pick me up. She came out of her parents' house, and oddly and rare for her, she turned right and went further into the street, which is odd because the street's not that big and you don't need to drive a car there. She'll lazily take the motorcycle I bought her and her mom, but sometimes, but not her car. Anyway, so I see the car go, and I'm like, and I was still probably a little annoyed, and I was going to want to run some errands with Fawn today, so I was thinking she was going to pick up one or both of the boys and take them with us on the errands this morning, and I wasn't really liking that idea a whole lot, to be honest. But anyways, the car comes back out a few minutes later, pretty short, pretty quick. It comes right back, and what she did is somehow, I guess on his own, Ken had figured out he had done wrong, which that's nice. That's some self-awareness, and that's improvement. That's great. And Fawn, to reinforce that point, drove the car down there because through the tinted windows you can't see who's in there or not. And Ken had assumed I was in the car. And again, the boys, male children, or her male children anyways, but this seems to be very common, have no need or expectation to respect or listen to the female mother. So thinking that I was in the car, the boys immediately, they were fighting or something, they stopped that, and then he offered some kind of apology for waking me up this morning. And Fawn yelled back and forth to him through the cracked window a little bit, and kind of kept the illusion up that I might have been in the car or something. So clever, cute. It did resolve itself. And in watching the video, I feel like I was a little harsh. Maybe I needed that second cup of coffee, but whatever. But that's life, I mean, yeah, a lady with no kids is the easiest. With daughters is probably almost just as easy. And then with boys, one boy, two boys, it just, if she probably had three boys, I would have said, pass, I mean, and I almost did with the two back when we were dating. But it's really not bad. The family as a whole does pretty well. The one aunt and the parents do the absolute heavy lifting with the boys. They do absolutely all the heavy lifting. And I'm free to opt out. And part of the problem in the past was I wasn't opting out. I felt a sense of obligation. And that's noble, I guess. But, I have to kind of, keep everybody happy, but that includes me too, right? So I need, as school resumes, I think this or next week, upcoming week or next week, I'm going to opt out of some of the shuttling the boys around in and out of school and stuff, because I don't, really hurts my back, and I need to spend more time doing rehab and other stuff and not doing that. So anyways, that's what I have to say about that. So good morning. Good morning on that video. It's good afternoon right now. It's getting to be 4 o'clock, which is getting to be a nice time of the day. The heat's passed a bit, and I'll probably go for a walk soon. Now we're back to the last couple seconds of the original video, and here I'm announcing some upcoming content. On a friend of his, and no names or anything like that. I won't out anybody, but just a good story for don't do what that guy is doing, and we'll talk about that. All right, bye. And here's the last little piece of bonus footage I have from that night where they set up a market at a gas station, which was pretty cool. So, back on this will be a clip from my flexing video, but there's another McGene's deal. Big stuff here. Very popular. If you want to kind of dress with the in crowd, definitely got to have some of that in your wardrobe. No, thank you for supporting my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.